Thank you.
You bet. You guys have a good day.
You too.
Thank you.
County engineer update. Richard,
Good morning.
good morning.
Rock run's going on in the northeast corner, so we've got that going. It's been pretty dry lately on the roads. They're pretty dang hard, so we pulled the blades off as much as we can. We're getting some sawing done for some future patching and some future joint expansion stuff. And then we're doing some, since it's dry out underneath the bridges, as dry as it's been for a long time, so we're gonna try to get down and get some riprap and stuff done underneath those bridges while it's dry. So we've got that stuff going on. The salt bids came in from the state last week. Our price for fiscal 22 is $90.42 a ton. We had a favorable winter this last winter, so we ordered less tonnage. We're down to 1,500 ton. In the past, it was 1,700. We're looking at a cost of $135,630. The price is a little bit of an increase, and I second guessed myself after I came down here as to which year I had. I think last year we were paying $89.32, and it's now $90.42. I think that's the number I was second guessing because I thought maybe last year was 85. So it's kind of a steep jump if it was 85. If it's $90, $89, and it's not so bad. We saw an increase of about 80 cents in Worth County's salt too. So we need to address that, or need to approve the salt to the DOT by Friday. So I think all things considered, we've got a good salt shed full right now. We reduced the amount we're going to put in there. We're a little bit less than last year's total cost, so I think that we should go ahead and accept that bid for the salt so we can get that stuff under contract. Any questions or comments? We're going to start mixing it a little bit lighter too, I think. We've been going 50-50 with the salt and sand. We'll make sure we kind of continue that a little bit. That seems to kind of help with the cost of this stuff. So if there are no comments, I'll respond to the DOT then and tell them we'll accept that. And then one thing on drainage, a couple of years ago, Dennis Pop was contacted. It's DD7 over there in Newburgh Township, section 30. There was some pipe that had some suck holes in it, and I don't know, Jim, if you remember, if this was Bob Sherrard property where there was some problems with some tile, and it's been on the books, it just never got done. So he called me yesterday and said he was going to try to get in there and start doing it. So you may see some assessment bills coming in the future for about 400 feet of pipe replacement in through there.
Those on 420th in our right of way, or is it
It's south and it's in the field, so it's in the drainage district itself. It's on the main, from what I understand. So
Is that big pipe, the great big one?
I don't think it's that one. I'm trying to remember what size. He said if it was 12 inch or 10
Okay.
inch. So
that's further south.
Okay, yeah.
there's some suck holes in the field that were supposed to get done, and I don't know what the delay was. I think Dennis was always ready to do it, and the landowner wasn't ready to do it because of crops or whatever. So he says he's going to try to get in there and do it. So just so you guys are aware, there'll be some assessment bills coming for drainage out there. So. And I'll be gone Thursday, Friday this week. Be back Monday. If you got any questions, I can address them. We'll get to the shop there too.
I talked to Dunley last night, and we can use that roller.
Okay.
So I can contact him, or if you guys want to contact him when you know you're going to do it.
Yeah, I'll contact him.
He said he'd deliver it, so.
Okay, yeah, we'll see. I think we're going to try to get something either late this week or early next week out there. We've got the dirt crews are kind of caught up. We've got some pipe quotes in, and the pipe is high, but we're kind of caught up where we need to be, so we've got a little bit of free time while we can get in there and peel that sod up and get your rock put in there. So.
Whoever's going to do that, I guess I'd appreciate a phone call so I can meet him
Yep.
there to go over
Yep.
that with him a little bit.
Yep.
Okay.
So.
All right. Is there anything else for Rich?
I see they're cutting out some more patches north of Stacyville.
Yep, we're just pre-sawing it so that we can get them taken out. Yep. They didn't get everything done last year, so it's just that's what they're out doing. Get that sawing done so we don't have to go out there when it's too hot and then the pavement's expanded and you wedge blades. So.
Yeah. Was it just, it's just too thin in them spots, right?
They're overstressed and whatever, you know, with the loads and stuff, and they might even be where they're buckled. I don't know if it's, yeah, I suppose that they could be a little thin for the loads that eventually ended up on it. A lot of it, I think, is locations where it's buckled. from expansion.
Yeah.
Now, on your question of salt, were we supposed to have had an
I don't
action
think you
on that?
necessarily need to, we budgeted, if you
Okay,
guys
well, I
wanted
didn't know if you
general
wanted
consensus. I
consensus
just,
from the board.
more information for you guys to understand where the,
All right,
since it's a budgetary item. And the DOT does the bidding, so they do all the advertising, everything else, we just need to accept it. As far as I understand anyway, I don't think the board's ever really had to approve it before.
I was just asking to
No,
make sure, I
that's
didn't
fine.
know what you were asking.
No,
for
just
sure
kind of
there.
more of an
Kinda
information.
left it. All right, thank you, Rich. Is
You're
there
welcome.
anything else for Rich? Hearing none, thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
I suppose we jump to the,
8,
go clear to 8.
7 is after 6. Yeah, we're done.
All right. Number 8, discussion on possible action on cemetery funding, and there is a sheet on here, in here. Is there more information on that, why this is brought up, Rachel?
One cemetery had contacted the VA office about funding. And I just contacted counties around us as far as Floyd and Worth. And so basically, we need to fund the cemeteries through the VA budget. You guys set a fee or a dollar amount per veteran out there. Worth County does $6, Floyd County does $7.50. And in order for a cemetery to receive the funding, they receive it once a year. They need to submit their information, all the veterans in their cemetery. And it'd be nice if they can put the time that they have served as well, just for reference. But let's say they have 300 veterans, but they only turn in a list of 50. They will only get funded for those 50 veterans. But they would have to submit it every year. It's not just they submit it 1 year and they get it every single year after that. Submit it every year.
So we haven't been doing this for any of the cemeteries, period.
I don't believe so.
See, there was a question about Rock Creek Cemetery.
Yep, that's the one I had called.
Okay,
You find anything out, Rachel, in regards to if any of these entities are levying for that service?
When I talked to Northwood, they weren't, but, or the ones that they pay out, they aren't levying anything.
Okay. Mark, are you still on the line? Yes, I guess I'm all for doing what we need to do as far as for Iowa code. And
Yeah, I'm here, sorry about that.
that's okay. So we talked in regards to if these entities are already levying for this service, if we're responsible to do it, is there a way that they need to prove to us that they are not levying for this tax and getting paid twice for the same thing?
Well, there's two ways. Number one, you could just ask, but Rachel should be able to tell too from her budget whether, what type of a cemetery it is and if they are already, if the county's already putting a levy on the citizens for that cemetery.
Okay, so I'll just use the city of Osage for an example. If they are charging the city people of Osage to run the Osage cemetery, we're still responsible to fund it also?
If they're levying a tax, I don't think there's anything that requires you to do this. Is it, Rachel? It's optional, isn't it?
Correct.
So there's nothing anyone could do to say, we've got 10 veterans in this cemetery, we want you to give us $7.50 a piece or $75 a year. You can just say no to anybody. I don't think anybody can do anything about it. But once you've made the decision to say, yes, we're going to pay $7.50, but only if you aren't already a taxing entity, then you've got to treat everybody the same. All non-tax cemeteries you've got to pay, all tax cemeteries you don't pay.
code does say shall, the code does say shall. It says we shall do it. So my big thing is I just don't wanna be paying twice for it, so.
Yeah, my only response is I guess we haven't for 100 years, so,
Okay.
it shall if requested, so, and
Oh,
then,
okay, all right.
you know, because you could say, okay, we're gonna set it at 1 penny, so.
I'm not objecting to doing it, I just, like I said, I don't wanna be doing it
Yep.
twice, that's all.
I agree.
I actually called Kathy Penny on this a while back and, up at the city hall. And this got ran by them a few years back. And she took a look at it, but like for the Osage Cemetery, our sexton's getting paid, for keeping our cemetery and the grave sites up, and also the city park and recs are getting paid for mowing and trimming the cemetery. So she said she really never, because we haven't been doing it, she never really looked into it any farther, just because everybody is basically getting paid, and same way with the Catholic cemetery. But I do understand if there's a lot of these little cemeteries out in our counties that I don't know if people are volunteering their work on mowing and trimming, but how we ever would find out, I don't really know. There's so many around, but, so Kathy, she knew about this. It just said that, you know, the local cemeteries are already getting paid,
Yeah.
so.
Don't our trustees kinda get in touch with like 4-H on some of the cemeteries, the rural ones? I can't remember how that worked out. I know Danny Sullivan was in charge of the Brownsville one. I don't remember how that worked out. Okay, is there any other discussion on this?
I guess I'd like to, what actually was Rock Creek, do they need funding? Is that what they were?
They were inquiring to Larry about getting funding to help take care of their cemetery.
The complete cemetery, not just the VA grave.
But we only
You
can
only-
pay out for the VA.
Yeah,
That'd be just for the veterans' graves.
So that money though is my question, who does get the money?
So I was looking at Worth County, they sent me, she has a really nice spreadsheet set up of all the cemeteries, all the contacts, like the clerks. So I would assume it goes to the clerk, and they pay whoever takes care of it.
I'm sure, I know there's some cemeteries in the county that are, you know, financially secure, they wouldn't
Yeah.
need,
Right.
but they could jump on the bandwagon and request it anyway, couldn't they? I was on a board with one that was set, you know, I mean, no, so I don't know. But I'm sure there's some that are financially in trouble, probably, is why this is. Supposedly, when you buy a grave site, that's supposed to go for perpetual care for, you know, they're supposed to invest it or whatever to take care of it forever, basically.
Some
And
are
Kathy and Mayor Cooper said, you make no money in the cemetery.
No,
So,
no,
No, you don't.
You never get ahead, so
No.
I don't know how everybody feels if, you know, if Rock Creek needs some help, do we help them? I don't.
If we help one of the rural, we have to help them all.
Yeah,
Upon their request.
it's on their request.
Upon their
They have to
request.
submit information.
And again, I'm not against it, I just didn't want to be paying for it twice, so. When these requests come in, Rachel, you go to just look and see if
Yeah,
they
you
need
can
levy
look right
for
in their
it.
budget if they levied
I mean,
anything.
and so, and the code says we're supposed to do it if they're requested. It's not like,
I guess the question would be, what would we want to give for a rate?
yeah.
You know, we've got $6 for 750 employed.
There is a $2 one, correct, Rachel?
Well, that was just our scenario, that one we were talking about for easy math.
Oh,
Can't remember, Worth, they just upped it to 6, it was either 3 or 4 before that.
Keith, you have a question?
Yeah, where is this tax, where is it extended from? I mean, we have city cemetery as well, and it's paid by taxpayers, the upgrade of that, along with sale of lots. Now, you have private cemeteries, there are veterans in those too. Are the private cemeteries eligible for this tax money? Where does it come from? Who's funding it?
So, anyone's eligible, private or not, and
Where-
then it gets paid through the VA budget, however, I believe it comes out of the general fund.
Okay, and when's the VA send you money? Do you have to send notification to them how many veterans you're serving in a cemetery?
So we would keep a
They're all gonna die
spreadsheet and-
someday, so
Yeah,
you're
I
gonna
don't,
keep doing this forever if you do it.
right. I mean, it says that we're supposed to do it if they request it. Worth County, in her spreadsheet, they have quite a few cemeteries, but they only, so far for next year, and they pay out in July. There's one cemetery that's submitted with 2 veterans in it, and then there was one with a larger amount. But otherwise, the rest of the cemeteries didn't even submit anything to be
Well, our
funded.
cemetery care is very expensive, and we got a lot of veterans, so if anybody applies, then we're gonna apply for it. Then I think that's what's gonna happen in the county.
And if you say it how Jim did, if you're already levying for the cemetery, then you would be able to get the funding, I think is what you were trying to
Yeah,
say, right?
that's what I'm saying, is
Yeah.
if you're collecting money from the taxpayers already to take care of the cemetery, then I think that's double dipping if you.
Yeah, that'd be double dip.
So that's where my point was.
But if anybody's gonna double dip, everybody will, so.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not picking on anybody in particular,
Right.
it's just, it's a good thing, it's just don't want to get abused, so.
So if the VA is driving this, do they compensate the county for this additional thing if you would do it?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
I believe they get like $10,000 a year that they have to spend it on. I'm not sure what is currently like in Larry's budget, what he does with that $10,000, but I know like Worth County, that's where they put the money towards.
10,000 is not gonna go very far in this county.
No.
No.
I've
But
got,
that's in a scenario everyone applies. Will they do it every year? I don't know. If they do it one year and set it up in a spreadsheet where they have all of it, it'd probably be easy to submit every year.
Sounds like it needs more rules than you got.
I've got a, out of Iowa code here, kind of, I looked at very closely, it's 35B.17, maintenance of graves. A sum sufficient to pay for the care and maintenance of the lots on which they are buried in all cases in which provision for such care is not otherwise made.
Oh, okay.
So to me, if I'm just going by our locals, the Osage and the Catholic, that is provided. You know, we've already got people hired to take care of the graves. That's the way I'm reading this.
Yeah,
But
so
I
it's
could,
something that ain't being taken care of then.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna interrupt quickly, it's 9,
yeah.
so we'll come back to it.
Okay, moving back to number 6, public hearing to amend for 20/21 county budget. We have a sheet here. And Rachel, I guess I'll let you.
You wanna open the public hearing?
Oh, yeah. Do we have any oral, open the public hearing at 9 o'clock. Do we have any oral or written comments?
I had none.
Rachel?
Nope.
Rachel, I'll let you give a little brief summary of this.
Yep, so we decreased the IT budget a little bit since Casey was gone, to reflect more of what was actually being used. And then it reflects the Pittston property purchase.
Yep.
Line items.
That's what the conservation one is?
Yep. So it will show revenue from that lost money going in, and then the bank loan, and then it will show the expense.
So that's all expense on that land.
Correct.
So 870 going in is the 5 and the 500 and.
What are you looking at, the appropriations?
Yeah, I'm looking at the revenues, as is add 870 to the conservation budget.
And they also had some, wildlife habitat for 70,000. So you have 300,000 from the bank loan, 500 from local option.
Then an increase of 945, because it must have been short by 75.
So,
No difference between 870 and 945 is 75,000.
Under the expenditures, you look at?
Yes.
That was for the purchase of the Pittston property.
So they were short on their budget by 75,000 because of that purchase? Is that correct? Or-
So you have to amend, let's say, okay, this is kind of in a good scenario, they receive this money and they do have some money in their, budget, however, you have to reflect the exact dollar amount that you're spending, whether you have revenue to cover it or not.
Okay.
So
So
they,
their budget ain't getting amended, it's just,
we're amending their budget because they didn't know they were gonna buy the Pittston property. So you have to put that amount that it's gonna cost to purchase it.
oh, because that's the total cost of the property,
I believe so, that's what.
945? Oh, so that's why it's not, okay. Okay, I understand it then, I just.
And then a lot of the revenue was for the CARES Act money that was received.
Okay.
Any discussion on this? So, Rachel, are we working to approve the amend the county budget? Is that what?
No, so the public hearing's closed, so you need to approve the appropriations resolution.
So we're on number 7, we're
Yeah.
approving the appropriations resolution now. And that is resolution 1095-21. Whereas it is desired to make appropriations for various departments as per the budget amendment at this time, therefore it be resolved by the Board of Supervisors of Mission County, Iowa, that these changes be made. And we went through, discussed the revenues, add 870 to the Conservation Department, add 28,000 to the Auditor's Department, 9,000 to the Treasurer's Department, add 38,500 to the Sheriff's Department, add 18,000 to the Recorder's Department, add 33,500 to the Home Health Department, and add 561,400 to departmental departments. Our expenditures decrease 62,641 to the IT department, increase 945,000 to the conservation department, and a decrease of 886,984 to non-departmental departments. That is our resolution. Everybody understand that? Any further discussion on that? Hearing none. Do we have any motions to approve this resolution 1095-21?
I'll move to approve resolution 1095-21.
Jim has made a motion.
I'll second that.
Mike has seconded. Any further discussion?
Hearing none. Rachel?
Roll call. Mark?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Jim?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
So that has been approved, that resolution. Did we do everything correct there, Rachel?
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on back to the cemetery action and funding.
So kind of what you said, Todd, is that if the cemetery is financially being taken care of, then they wouldn't apply for this, correct? Kind of the way you read it? I mean, that's what I got out of it.
Yeah, I'm guessing if we do it, we're gonna have to probably take a look at each individual situation, maybe, I don't,
Yeah.
I don't
As
know.
long as they ask for it, then we have to,
But it kind of said if they're not provided in another way or something, right? Did it?
Well, that's kind of what I'm looking at, so say cemetery, south of town, whatever, I'm just an example, sends in a bill and got 10 and we give $60 for the taking care of the veterans' graves. I'm totally confused on, well, what are you gonna do with the other graves? You know, do you just go in, mow around the veteran graves and trim and,
well, I think this money is put into a pot.
Into their
yeah.
budget, I suppose, to take care of the whole cemetery.
It probably helps with, yeah, just, it gets melted into their budget and just aids in maintaining them, I would suspect.
Helps them in,
and again, I'm not against it either, it's probably a good thing, but we also give, our VA buys a bronze
plaque.
medallion with the, you know, that's just a volunteer thing, I think that our VA does. So we are doing something, it's just
I think the family has to ask for that.
also,
Yeah, the family had to ask for that.
so, and that, I just throwing a few things out there, we can, move to make a motion on it, we can look more into it, I guess, I don't know where we're gonna go with it.
The word provisions is kind of the key word, and when I read that, I did talk with Mark Walk about it, and he kind of emphasized as it's today, it depends on if they're being levied for it, so, to me, it's, if there's a record that they're already getting paid for this,
Yeah,
then they don't qualify.
I would think any city cemetery site who is getting dollars through their city taxes, the way I understand it, would not be able to get this. This would be my understanding. Mark, I guess, I don't know if you're still out there, is that correct? If you are, if you're not, don't worry about it.
Yep, I'm there. Well, I agree with what Todd read, which says, in all cases in which provision for such care is not otherwise made. So, if there's already a levy, I think provisions are already being made for the care of it. If there's not a levy, then there are no provisions being made for the care of it.
So theoretically, any cemetery that is managed by a church, would that be under that?
Yeah, well, and once again, this is just my opinion. If there's a tax, I think we're talking about taxpayers.
Okay, so a church,
So a church, yeah, sure, there's provisions being made, but it's private funds being used for it. I don't think that's what this means. I think it means if taxpayer money's already being used, then you don't get any. But if there's not taxpayer money being used, then you qualify for it.
okay, thank you.
But, you know, another county attorney might interpret it a different way.
And there might be some townships that actually levy to take care of cemeteries within their township too, so that's going to be a Rachel thing to verify if it's happening or not.
which is easy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's 'cause like I was mentioning, I knew Danny Sullivan was taking care of the Brownsville Cemetery, but I thought he was like through a trustee. But yet in my mind, I don't know if he's a trustee to Borough.
I think he, for sure. Yeah,
Okay, well, then,
and they, so that doesn't specifically list which cemetery, but it has a cemetery line on their budget that they have to put in if they are funding or not. Some do, some don't.
okay,
I just have to figure out which specific cemetery they're doing it for. I'm sure there can be multiple in each township.
would we like to table this until another meeting? Rachel could get a little more information as to who has what? Or would we want to proceed with this?
I'm okay with proceeding, but it's, everybody's got a different thought.
If we proceed with this, then we have to come up with a funding amount, which is bouncing around at different levels too.
So like a church cemetery, which has provisions in place, they have
But
a
it's
fund,
not, but it's not tax.
it's not taxpayer money. that- So they would qualify. There's a lot of veterans in Stacy Cemetery, so, you know, but I know they're.
Go ahead, Mark.
This is my opinion, and maybe Rachel, you could ask if you're talking to other auditors, is it their opinion that if tax money is being used already, there's a levy in place, then they don't qualify? But if like churches and other cemeteries, those are the ones that qualify? Or do some counties just say, hey, if you've got veterans there, you qualify?
That's the way I took it from Worth, but I can double check with her and I can ask Gloria and Floyd what they do.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that would help us make a decision to,
Yeah.
Should we just, we need a motion to table it?
I think we do.
So I'll move to make a motion, we table this. Rachel contacted a couple people, find some more information, and I'm thinking we can bring it back next week.
Yeah, sure. Todd's made a motion to table.
I'll second that.
Mike has seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Rachel?
Roll call, Steve,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Mark,
Aye.
Todd,
Aye.
Mike.
Aye.
All right, thank you. Rachel, good luck on that. Just that you need some more work. Discussion on drainage of new county maintenance garage.
I put this on, and this could be very brief. After last week's meeting, I went over and talked with Mr. Anderson. We walked the site, made some changes to location of the building. He's happy, problem's done.
Okay.
So, that's it.
Any questions for Jim? I don't know how you did that, but thank you. Moving on, discussion on go-to meetings. And Rachel?
I talked to a couple of you, it's your guys' option if you wanna continue the go-to meetings. In the past, we always had we still filmed it and put it online for people to watch, but it's up to you if you wanna. Seems like some restrictions are starting to lighten a little bit with COVID, and a lot of meetings are open again, so.
I think that would be good to have in-person meetings again.
But they'll
Still have it on the,
Website to watch.
yes.
So I went back and forth on this. I originally was thinking that, and I kind of went the other direction a little bit. So these are just talking points that we can think about. So Casey, how many people are on now?
Currently there are 6.
Okay, so
And
is there,
I did look, and there's usually, last 2 months, there's been anywhere from 5 to 10 people.
okay. Is there any problem as far as connectivity and interference because too many people or anything like that?
Nope.
Okay, so, where do I start? So, it's a good thing that people are involved with our meetings and watching our meetings. And one thought is that it's being recorded so they can watch it at any other time. There may be people that are watching it now because this is their opportune time to watch it. Is it really a problem that we're doing it? No, just what he said. There's no problem with the way we're doing it. I guess I don't see a problem, so I don't know really why we would change it.
I guess your concern is for those that may have comments during the meeting?
No, I don't necessarily think that we should be letting people, those 6 people comment during the meeting. I mean, people have business with us, like the attorney, or let's say Judy Funk didn't want to come up here and she was, that's a different deal. But as far as just people listening and stuff, it's not really an issue that they are doing it, so I don't really know what the problem is that we continue doing it. Those are just
I guess
thoughts.
my thought is if we have major players that are coming, it's best to talk in person. It's like going to a virtual meeting. I don't get as much out of, our meetings with our entities that we go to. It ain't the same. It's nice to talk physically, especially to the county attorney. It's nice to visit specifically with him. I know this is working, but it's nice to talk with Judy Funk. She was here. It was nice to visit with her. If you have something important enough to be on the meeting, you should be at the meeting. My concern.
Okay, and so maybe we're talking 2 different things. So the recording's going on now. The recording is what's live right now.
So what's live is the video from here, actually. This goes on the website later.
Okay. All right.
That's my thoughts. Any other discussion?
I say leave it the way it is. You get a lot of comments from people that watch the video and listens. I think it's a little thing to have.
Will this still have the video part? Will it
Right.
still be out there? Casey?
Yeah, my only thought would be to continue as is, but if you want people that are on the agenda to attend, then just have them attend in person. But
That's
leave
the
everything
main
else
thing.
as
If
is.
you're on the agenda, it's be here. That's be nice.
Yeah, the schools have taken away the mask mandate as of today, I guess, no more masks.
There's one thing, I hate to bring it up, but money-wise, sometimes it costs us, the county, money for people to come and be at our meetings, and so if it's travel time and, 2 hours from Des Moines and 2 hours back, versus we could just, again, like Judy, if she just has a little discussion for us and, rather than having her drive all the way here and drive home, she could just do it on the go-to. I can see good points there that they just a 10-minute conversation for us because we had a question or two, rather than having them drive all the way here and I know, Casey, you can set it up at any time you want, but I guess I'm like Mark. I think it's been working. The people are probably, more people are watching and listening now than would drive here to sit and listen.
We had 2 of you gone on vacations.
Yeah.
You got to listen, which is kind of nice. I don't get that privilege. Some people do.
Just gotta do it.
Vacation?
You just gotta do it.
Exactly. I get to Mitchell.
Well, if there was an issue, I guess I would say let's pull the pin, but I'm thinking there's there's not really a problem, so I don't really know why we wouldn't change it. Everybody's got their thought.
I really don't care. So I guess consensus of the board would be to leave it the way it is.
Any other discussion on that? Hearing none, we'll slide on down to action on Mitchell County Fair Board's request. And we have a letter from Audrey Barker. Dear Mitchell County Board of Supervisors, as you are well aware, the Mitchell County Fair Board will be celebrating 150 years of supporting the youth of our county. You have graciously supported us over the years, and for this we're truly grateful. With this celebration this year, we are hoping to purchase some extra metal benches to put around the fairgrounds to allow people to sit down and take a break or sit while they watch their kids. We have had some people request a bench in memory of loved ones. Our goal is to increase the availability for people to sit down and take a break while walking around the fairgrounds. We were wondering if the Board of Supervisors would be interested in putting some extra money towards our 150th anniversary, and we would put the money towards purchasing a bench or two. The benches are $500 to $590 with an additional $50 for a memorial plaque on them. And this is sincerely Audrey Barker. She is the secretary for the Mitchell County Fair Board. So, any, Todd?
I'm just gonna, I'll make the motion right off the bat. I move to, give them an extra $1,000, for the 150th, one-time pay. I feel that's what we did with Carpenter's big event. So,
Todd has made a motion of $1,000 for the fair.
Go towards benches, correct?
This is for towards benches.
and they already told me they are gonna buy one for sure, and probably donated by Mitchell County Supervisors, and I'm guessing, if we give them the $1,000, if they want to buy two, they'll throw in the extra money for another one. Or they can use that extra 360, I think it will be, for whatever else they want to use it for.
We should really be discussing this after the second.
I'll second that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I was asking for a discussion, but you made a motion, so, but there can still be discussion.
Yes, yeah, after the
So-
second, you bet.
I'll second
That you're gonna second it. Okay, now Mark has made a second, so there'll be further discussion now.
Well, I think it's a good idea too.
I'm
Jim?
good with it, you bet it, I'm good.
Okay.
Roll call, Mike,
Aye.
Jim,
Aye.
Todd,
Aye.
Mark,
that. Aye.
Steve.
Aye.
So we've approved $1,000 for the Fair Board for benches. Moving on. Items of note, meetings attended. Who would like to go first?
I have done.
Jim doesn't want to go first.
Well, I had a conservation board meeting last Tuesday, and they just went over the cabin in Statesville, getting that ready, and the Pinnakin cabin, the driveway needs some repair or gravel. And Otranto Dam, supposed to be this fall probably, and the Mitchell Dam needs some repair. And Francis Park at New Haven, there was a camper in there. They're gonna tell them there's no camping in that park. So they're gonna have to move, but
I talked with Adam, and I guess that park is in their book
Yes.
for camping, but
Not
There.
bad for camping, though.
not for camping, because
No.
there's electricity, but he thinks
Yeah.
that electricity has been turned off for years because of the flooding, but
Yeah.
there is no camping,
No,
okay?
they're not gonna allow camping in that park.
Okay.
It's not set up for, they've never intended it to be a campground. It's just a
Okay.
park, you know, so whoever's been there is gonna have to move, I guess. They take it. And they discuss the wetlands some more, and then I had we were interviewing for the county sanitarian job, and I don't know, we had 4 people we interviewed. Offered it to one lady. I guess she's gonna job shadow Mark today to see if she wants it or not. So that's not a done deal yet either, I guess, so I thought it was, but must have second thoughts, so. Anyway, I guess that's the 2.
Okay. I had a meeting, let's see, that's not it. I had a meeting with the Floyd Mitchell Chickasaw landfill. That was on May 11th. And we approved the agenda, approved the minutes. We didn't have anybody for citizen forum. So we got down to the new business. We discussed the financial report. And it was discussed that the landfill charges are down 7.5%. What is the reason? Didn't really know if it was COVID. That is our main source of income. Some expenses are higher than normal. Leachate is lower this year because it ain't raining. So we're not pumping the water out of from underneath the landfill, and so that's a saving. But overall, things are about normal. On our CDs, everything's down on CDs, as you know. Interest has gone to pot on CDs, so income on the CDs is down. Discussion regarding the new hire. Colin Brinkman was hired, Charles City. Starting wage of $20 an hour, with increases down the road. Discussion regarding pit boss versus aerator. This is for leachate, for spraying it, getting rid of our leachate on a normal year. The pit boss does 1.2 million gallons of water per year, and it will only run on the time of day in which the evaporation is best. And the cost of this unit was $39,487, and it was approved by the board to purchase. Anyways, this pit boss sits in the pond, and basically it's like an aerator. It's just stirring up the water, and once the water level is, flat surface of water doesn't evaporate as good as stirred up, and the cost per gallon to just get rid of our leachate through Alma or the city of Osage, this basically $40,000 will easily pay for itself in short order.
Does that thing, Steve, is there still pumping involved, or is that take care of?
Yes, it's got electric motors that's stirring up the water.
And then it pumps it out too?
Well, no, it's basic, it's not an aerator where it's spraying it up in the air like we've been using. This thing is just basically stirring up the surface of the pond. And if it works really well, we can put 2 of them in there, I think, the way I understand. We can add more to that pond, which will help in evaporation. Now, I did ask a question during the meeting. What about the solids? That, if it's evaporating, if there's any solids coming out of it, well, down the road, we may have to do a little scraping of the bottom.
Do you still have to take stuff to like Osage eventually, pump some of it out, take it to Osage to wastewater treatment though? Or?
If that availability is always going to be there, but we're hoping that if this is pumping out 1.2 million gallons, that's gonna alleviate,
Cut back on it.
yeah. So it should pay for itself in short order, and if it works really well, it will. You know, it has that possibility to add more of them. Hydromulcher. This is the material, or the machine they use to spray over the landfill at the end of the day. If you ever seen them out there, they spray something that looks greenish. But anyways, this puts a top coat on the landfill, and it helps in the future composting in the landfill. And the cost of this unit was $48,545, and that was approved by the board to purchase. Because the one they have is higher. We had a Heartland Insurance report, and it was discussed and approved. And we had a director report, and this was from our new director. Trees are planted. Michaels came in, that's the electric people. They pulled in electric wires and stuff underground to the different buildings. And at a very reduced rate from what we've discussed with other people, very, very fair with us. They're recirculating leachate. Again, that's where we're pumping it up on top of the mound above the landfill. And that's how we get rid of it right now, other than hauling it to Elma or Osage. But they are still recirculating leachate. And they also gave Joel Oaklander his 30 days notice. And the other thing, we did receive a complaint from the neighbor on the odor. It was stated, though, that the hog building manure smell was stronger than the landfill. So, anyways, that was my meeting with the landfill. Mark?
Nothing from you?
I had a couple of few other guys were in the community collaboration meeting. Their mobile crisis response, children's behavioral health, and I thought it was very good. There was a lot of people that attended, and they're gonna probably start having them quarterly. And it's not a meeting, I don't think that, as of now, none of us have to, it's kind of a volunteer thing. And as of now, I'll go and see how things work out. I thought it was very good. That's all I had.
Yeah, that was a good meeting. It was all the providers discussing what their services were, the different providers, and the areas they, the community that they work with.
Yeah, there's the one thing, the mobile crisis response, that's, everybody's dial, when they have some issues at whether home, school, or whatever, they always call 911, and it dispatches all your law enforcement, and sometimes it's just, they don't need the law enforcement, it's family activities and things that don't really, you don't need the law enforcement. So they're working on getting another, well, I think there is a number, but I can't tell you.
I can't remember what they said, 511 or something.
I don't think it said, I don't remember what it was.
It was another number.
Yeah.
There's another number, and they're gonna try and get that out to schools, fire departments, courthouses. It's a sheet like this, and it'll have phone numbers and stuff on there, and,
I put mine upstairs.
okay. So, yeah, it was very informative.
Alrighty, moving on, clerk of court, report for April. And I, Stacy Olson, clerk of district court for the above named county and state, do hereby certify the following is true and correct statements of the fees collected by me in my office for the month ending April 30th, 2021. And the total amount is $3,155.22. So noted. Moving on, manure management plan updates.
We have PL Farm LLC, doesn't give an address, but it's the east half of the northwest 1/4 in section 8 of Wayne Township. Kiss Finisher Farm, 3005 500th Street in McIntyre. And Johnson Nursery Union, 5060 Glass Avenue in St.
Okay. And now we're down to the public comment. Randy, you got any comments?
No,
No?
I ain't been down here for a while.
We missed you.
No, you ain't missing much.
All right, it sounds like we don't have any public comments, so